Please welcome Linus Ekenstam, Paul Trillo, and Jamey Gannon.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah?
Wow, I missed you guys.
Jamey, welcome.
Hello, hello.
So, what are we going to do?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Should we have AI feed us some answers?
Yeah, I think first of all, we need to kind of introduce ourselves. I'm not going to give you the intro. You're going to have to introduce yourselves. But let's start with Jamey.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know about anyone else, but I feel like I have to change my intro every week now because of all the different stuff I do. But I think the simple way, I'm a brand designer and creative director for early stage companies. And then I also make a ton of content and do a bunch of stuff like this, talking about what I do, in particular about AI.
Yeah. And Paul, what do you do?
What do? I don't know anymore. What do I not do?
Right?
I'm a director, filmmaker, artist, and a creative director of Asteria Films. Whoops, we'll leave that there. Which is a creative studio in LA that focuses on like hybrid production, whether it's animation or like physical production, and how do we responsibly bring these tools into the industry?
Yeah, and we saw your work for the last 30 minutes. You have a good introduction.
Yeah.
Me, it's very unclear what I do. I tend to be around very talented people, and I get to talk to them. I get to, I get to
you
chat with
have
them.
lots of different skills.
I do have some skills, I would argue.
Do you not have a design background or something?
Yes,
Yeah.
well, I'm underselling myself.
Yes, you are.
I'm a designer of like 20 years experience of being a designer, a broad kind of designer. I started as a runner in the advertising agency industry. That means you do all the shit that nobody else wants to do. So you want someone to rotoscope or isolate 1,000 products from a catalog? That's your guy right there. Yeah. So I started very early in my career. I started working when I was 16. And I've been fortunate enough to be in a race of Mario Karts, like picking the banana peels, and I just skate along, and somehow I ended up here.
Well done. Yeah.
All right. Let's just go straight on. Like, what's one, this is a question for both of you, a statement for both of you. What do you think is one thing that's dead, that everyone is pretending is just fine?
That's dead. Being just a static designer. So if you're a product designer, you have to learn how to code now. If you're a brand designer, you should probably learn how to animate, make marketing stuff, make stuff that moves, make things that people can click on. This static world of like only working in Figma and never going into code, never going public is gone, I think.
Yeah, I mean, this sounds a little bit like a broken record, but I think that's kind of what my last talk was just about. But yeah, I think there's this overemphasis on how easy something is or should be. And I think there's a misconception or too much of that messaging proliferating online where it's like, oh, look at how easy this is now. And I think creatives need a little bit of tension as designers. You have to, it's about solving problems. That's like what design is ultimately, and filmmaking is sort of creating problems and then trying to solve them. And so I think you need that tension and things not to be so easy, or you get this kind of Wall-E kind of world. And so
like us scooting around.
Yeah, like this right here. We're halfway there right now. Just put some wheels on this. So yeah, I think I would just caution, like, how are you really challenging yourself as you're making things? Yeah.
So Jamey, do half of the people that are making stuff these days have no taste, and the only thing they have is access?
Do I agree with that statement?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Or no?
we're definitely in a taste drought because it's so easy to make stuff. I think also because everything's so algorithmic now, people are just, whether or not we're consciously doing it, I might even do it myself, we're making stuff for the algorithm and not necessarily stuff that is of good taste or high craft or whatever word you want to use. So yeah, it's as much a cultural problem as it is like everyone now, I can be a filmmaker now, in theory. Have I ever trained in, cinematography? Can I reference every director and camera angle? No, but I can make stuff. Does it mean it's good? No.
Yeah, I mean, also taste is such a overused word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we even mean?
Yeah, because there's taste and then there's craft, and they're connected, but they're different. And I could, curate things, but do I actually know how to craft the image to be exactly what I want it to be? And I think through craft, you develop a certain eye. And so I do like that. I guess just going back, that is why I kind of worry about the oversimplification of the process, because it will de-emphasize the need for craft. Obviously, taste is what everyone's talking about. Taste is going to be more important than ever. But I think it's a little bit deeper than that. Is knowing how to resist and to push and to actually control the exact thing that you want to get out of it.
Are we trying to gatekeep by talking about taste, or?
Yes.
Yeah? Cool.
Yeah, there should be more gatekeeping, I think. No, I don't know. Everyone's going to quote that now.
Don't quote him on that one. There should be
Don't
more
quote any of this. I'm on acid. So I don't know what's going on. We're at Google I/O right now?
Yeah, Google I/O.
Sorry. No, it's not about gate. I think it's, I think we're seeing really interesting artists emerge because of the lack of gatekeeping of craft. So there is something interesting when the barriers of craft go down. I'm not going to learn Houdini. Houdini is like a particle simulation physics engine. I'm not going to learn that, but sometimes I need, water to follow the laws of physics. I think it's much more efficient and more exciting as an artist to be able to get that through AI. So there are certain things that do, require craft and eye that I don't think matter as much, and we should be emphasizing kind of concept.
So me, I don't think I have taste. I think I've curated enough visual stimuli over 40 years that I can discern what I like or not like. Doesn't mean that I think I have taste. Someone I do think have taste is Jamey. One of the reasons why she's here, because I met you last year in September, and I was like, ooh, that was fresh. That's someone with taste. I didn't have that taste when I was your age, for example. And I'm like, how did you get that? How did you get to where you are today?
Yeah, I mean, everyone has this, especially as you come of age. You look back at the stuff you were posting or Pinterest boarding or putting on your Facebook 10 years ago, and it's awful. For everyone. Some of us might have had Tumblr and had a better aesthetic sensibility than others, but for the most part, I look back on what I made even 2 years ago, or clothes I bought 2 years ago and I didn't like them. I think it just comes from a daily practice, sometimes unconsciously, sometimes consciously. One example I give, when I moved to New York when I was 20, I realized very quickly, all right, I got to get my New York wardrobe. I'm going to dinners, I'm going to bars, I've never had to do that before, so I had to manufacture taste in that field of dressing up nice. And you can kind of apply that to anything. Now, because I'm doing more, the workshop I gave today was on product photography. I'm not a product photographer by trade, but because of AI, I've been doing it a lot more for my e-com branding clients, and I've had to, get taste with photography and understand lighting and scene and all of these things. It's a practice, I would say.
You have anything to add, Paul? Or you're good?
No, I'm good. That was
right.
good.
I mean,
New York, I was just going to say, though, New York kind of forces you to have taste to a certain degree. So if anyone's I don't know, needs a learning ground for taste, it does, just seeing, being exposed to all these different people and the arts, kind of the center of the arts world almost being there, and feeling like you're kind of always inadequate to something else, does sort of breed a certain mentality. but I don't know. I mean, I think everyone has taste. Whether it's good taste or bad taste is another thing. But technically,
I mean, if we look around, I would argue, and don't take offense if there's a designer in the room, but I'd say 95% of everything that's designed is shit.
yeah. Except for these graphics are pretty good.
Yeah, good work on the graphics, whoever did that.
Yeah.
I think it's a
I do
team
have
did it.
Upscale does have. I'm not just saying that Upscale does have good taste, and it has cultivated this crowd here because of it. But yeah, I mean I think there's this misconception, or it is interesting actually to bring it back up again because of what you're saying. We've been starting to talk about taste because the barrier to create things is so low. But humans have been making slop for the beginning of man.
Yeah.
Forever.
Humans, we've always been making slop, and now there's like this idea that only AI can be slop, or that anything that is AI is slop, and it is so binary.
It's a mirror. I think that what we're seeing with AI is a mirror of the human condition.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It's nothing less, nothing more. Like the sloppiness of AI is the sloppiness of human.
And so, I think there's still a ratio of people that are, have something to say or are capable or have an interesting perspective on the world. That ratio is still the same.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you really wanted to make something, you could make something without needing AI if you truly had something that you needed to get out of your system. And I think we're just seeing that we're seeing more people now because the gates have been lowered.
Yeah.
But I think proportionally, it's still the same as prior to those gates being up.
Jamey, who's your favorite painter?
My favorite painter?
Yeah.
I don't think I have one.
Okay, who's your favorite musician?
What did you say?
Musician.
My
artist.
position? Oh, I've been really into Samuel Burgess Johnson. He's the graphic designer, I believe, behind the Brat cover and everything the 1975 does. His designs are great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask you another? Like, what's the last thing you saw that made you kind of jealous?
Like maybe what?
That made you jealous?
Jealous? Probably something with AI. Actually, it's probably something today. I think Vork was showing like Claude workflows for UGC, and I haven't had the time to really dive into like automating, especially like through Magnific with Claude, to do like generations at scale. Because I've been too busy doing generations by hand for the clients that I actually have. So I was pretty jealous that people are still getting to play with AI. I feel like the wonderful thing about AI is like I have so much work now and I can do all these different things like video and photography. But now I got these opportunities because I was spending so much time playing with AI, and now I have no time to play with it. And I'm falling behind. That's probably the last time I was jealous was this morning.
So everything is moving so fast. There's no time to play.
No time to play.
Is that something that people here can kind of relate to? Yeah. Every day you wake up and you feel like you're 50 years older, and you'll be like, "What the?"
Yeah.
7 days in
Constantly
today's,
jealous.
Yeah. I mean, even I don't know how we do it, to be honest. It's hard work. I mean, you have a big team.
Yeah, that helps. So at Asteria, we have like people where I'm like, fuck, I wish I could do that. I like, someone posts some interest, everyone's doing it like, they're drawing like the red paths on images, and then they're like using Omni or Seed Dance and like creating these. I'm like, fuck, I want to do that. I literally don't have the time. It was like totally my thing. But I sent it to Mowgli on my team, and I was like, because we're working on like a city fly-through thing right now, and so it does allow me to like have like a testing ground where I'm like, hey, you guys look at this, you do that. But it is removing me from the process a little bit, and I get jealous. So like creating Asteria has been wonderful, and it's so exciting to like have a team of like-minded people that you're like building together. But it is like removing me kind of from like getting my hands dirty a little bit. Yeah.
And on the other side, Jamey, you are a one-man show or a two-man show.
Yeah, I just hired my first assistant creative director. Shout out Jack. That was in like March. But otherwise, it's just us.
Yeah.
And like, thankfully, he's incredible at AI too. But you know, I still definitely am in the loop on client work and directing, and or also like directing him like what to use, because it's could be the case that maybe he's using a model that is like not as good anymore, or opting to use Midjourney instead of like a Midjourney use case when he's actually using Nano Banana. And I need to be able to understand like, hey, you know, we can't just quit on this problem. We actually just have to use a different model. So even as I get further from the process in some parts of it, I still have to know my stuff to make sure we're on the right track with things.
So I don't know where to start. Like, we have a nice audience here, and we are not in a position to kind of tell people what to do, and like giving advice is always hard. But like, if we were to give some advice, like what is the one thing that anyone now that's interested or is working in the creative field and they want to kind of not be left behind? Because I do feel like that there is a train that's leaving, but also at the same time, bear with me, you have to hold two opposing thoughts in your head at the same time. Can be very difficult at times, especially in this day and age. The train might also not be leaving the station. But if you want to hedge for a future where things are moving at breakneck speeds, like what is one thing that we should try to do more of, like to not be left behind?
Yeah. I mean, this feels obvious, but I really do think all of us creatives being able to code is, for me, the biggest unlock of the last couple years, beyond being able to like make an image or make a video. We had artists had tools to make images and videos prior to AI. It just kind of changed the process a bit. But artists being able to code their own tools and code artisan tools that only are needed for one specific purpose, or and closing that feedback loop of like the product designer to the end user and making that one thing.
Yeah.
That feels like a huge breakthrough, and so I really encourage. It sounds stupid, but it is much easier than you think it is. Like if you're vibe coding is as easy as that sounds. It's just vibing with the machine. You're just chatting with it, and so hopefully, I imagine a lot of people here are already doing it. But if you're not, and it sounds foreign to you to code and to open up terminal and all that, it is really not. It's maybe 20 minutes of YouTube tutorials and you're set.
I would say like the barrier to entry to code a tool, any tool that you might have for your creative process right now, is probably less than learning how to pour a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
like
you could make an
ridiculously easy.
You can make an app within the time it takes for the pour over to finish.
Yeah. So there's no excuse. I mean, we all hate change. I've gone through change in my career multiple times, and I hate every step of it. I started making websites in Photoshop, and who even does that? Like, such a idiotic thing to do. Yeah, I mean, we did. Maybe that's part of the problem. We're too old for this. But there's no excuse to not go out and do stuff. Also, like, just purely dipping your fingers and toes and head deep into generative AI, like whatever it might be that floats your boat. Video, 3D, photos, like, and there's a reason why you're here. You're probably all already doing that, but there is, like, coding is such a big thing.
So our studio, we do a lot of 3D animation, actually. And now we have some of our 3D artists that were taught in Maya or Unreal picking up Blender, but they're using Claude to drive Blender for them. And like that is so crazy. And so even these tools that are not like necessarily AI tools can now become AI tools. So Nuke, Resolve,
historically complicated things to get good at.
And like the interface is not necessarily intuitive in some of those apps, and so Nukes especially, and so it just is like a turnoff immediately, or you're like, I don't want to delve into this for 6 months, and so to have Claude by your side is, I feel like, a very exciting time.
What about you, Jamey?
I think I have a slightly different take. You're kind of asking like, how do you kind of like bulletproof your career? How do you like make sure that you're going to have a career in the next like 3, 5, 10 years? I think it comes down to being social and, for lack of better words, getting attention. So if you're kind of more entrepreneurial like me, that might mean like making content and like really putting yourself out there, being more like independent. But as I talk to like a lot more people that are on like teams or like big companies like Meta, not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur or go on their own, but just making sure that you are not invisible. So I have this phrase that I love to say, which is invisibility is worse than incompetence. And I like to give myself as an example. Like, I am by no means the best like designer, AI creator, or even most knowledgeable person here, but because I yap a lot online and I've done talks before,
Yeah.
Linus knows my takes and invited me to come here, invited me to speak, and so did Magnific. And you can feel any way about that. I don't want to like put myself down a peg, but like it's certainly a factor in like my success is the fact that I'm just like always out there, always doing stuff, always talking. Again, it doesn't mean that you have to make videos 5 days a week like I do. You can just like be in the Slack, be posting what you're doing, be posting your vibe codes, post your experiments, get noticed by your superiors or whatever it is, so that way you are kept top of mind.
I think also like just being helpful.
Yeah.
Like, don't do things just for money.
Yeah.
Just fucking show up and be helpful.
Yeah.
Like, if someone asks you a question even if it's not directed to you, if you see someone online asking something and you have the answer, just like, if you don't want to reply publicly, just send them a DM and like, here's the thing. Like, that thing is the highest ROI of all the things that you can do online. It's a cheat code.
I agree. I think my career proliferated on the internet before AI because I do it now, but I was doing breakdown videos and making ofs with every project that I release, and being very transparent about the process. I think people like to believe that they could do it too if they kind of understand the process, and not to gatekeep the process. No one's going to have my exact brain, so I'm not worried about someone recreating what I do. And it's really about encouraging people through education and transparency and not withholding things. So I agree. I think anytime anyone's just like, oh, how do I do this? I try to be helpful. I send people DMs or I try to respond to DMs. Don't flood my inbox, but yeah, I think that is the best way to kind of get visibility and kind of make yourself a voice.
And you can also go out and hunt for that type of stuff as well. Like, if you want to be helpful, you have like an hour to spare. Like, there's plenty of all the social media platforms. You can just search for things. Like, if your domain expertise is something, search for a question, and you'll be surprised how many times there are people asking questions and they don't get help. They scream into the void, and there's like, why would some dude with 100,000, 200,000, 500,000 followers reply to my question? You'd be surprised. I think many, like, I'm just a normal guy, even though a lot of you might know me from the internet. I'm just a normal guy. That has nothing to do with who I am like a person. So that's a weird social construct. All right, we still have some time. I have another statement. If like originality is kind of a marketing term, we're all kind of running on training data. What's your take on that, Jamey?
I do a lot of logos, and I always get scared that like we're gonna run out of them, and I definitely think we're getting there. So I kind of think about that. Nothing is ever totally original. Something always looks like something else, and you're always getting ideas from all over the place. There's been a couple times this happened to me where like I'll post a design, and like either a few weeks prior or a few weeks later, someone else will post a design. We don't know each other. We didn't see it, but it's like so eerily similar, and it's kind of like hive mind type stuff. So I think that definitely makes sense because we all see the same content. We live in the same world. I think we probably shouldn't put too much pressure on ourselves to be original. It's more so about acting in like good faith. Like, don't rip
But
off
yet it
someone's
seems like to be
concept.
the biggest kind of discussion, like, oh, AI can't be original, it's just the human behind it, like, oh, we can't do this, we can't do that. And I think like maybe we're beyond that point of this right now, but like that still feels like the overall like majority kind of criticism against where we are. But
I don't think that's true. I think if you've ever used, especially something like Midjourney, that is your work. Like it doesn't matter how many like inputs you're putting in. If you've ever actually spent time in a model like that, or seen like people who are like true like AI artists, like you will feel it and realize that it is definitely an art form in and of itself. Maybe people don't want to call it an art form, but I think their work is totally original.
Oh, 100%. I mean, you're preaching to the choir here. Like,
Yeah, I bet.
But I'm not just trying to filter this for other people, because I do think there is a lot of like push and pull, and which is good, by the way. I personally enjoy when there is friction. Like I'm not afraid of taking a debate or being wrong. Like I think we all need to be wrong way more than we are right at this point. We stand at the precipice of potentially the biggest kind of reshuffle or rumble in our lifetimes, maybe potentially, even bigger, because we're at a generative AI conference here, but the technology, the underlying technology that we're talking about, it's affecting everything. But we're trying to kind of keep the scope here. On that note, like if tools if tools vanished, like if tools just disappeared, what would you guys still make?
Oh, I'm excited for that.
But what would you actually make? Like imagine someone just
Yeah.
took away all the stuff from you.
A movie.
A movie?
Yeah, imagine that.
Okay, you get to keep the camera then. Let's say the camera is.
Are we talking like all technology or just AI?
Your primary tools. Like doesn't need to be AI, but like just maybe the camera can still be there.
I do want to. Yeah, I think my brain is now so wired into using AI by default that I am looking for my next project to. I mean, the Poppy film, surprisingly, we use very little AI in it. I am looking for something just to push myself to be like, okay, what was the world like before I could have these crutches, and do I still have like the tenacity or the ability without it? So I'd like to make another piece that uses no AI, but there's so much shit still to experiment with that like I need to get some of those out of my system. But I think even for people that got into making things with AI, I would challenge those people to see what can I make. Like when I subtract this thing, and who am I when I remove this thing, and is my identity intrinsically tied to these tools, or what happens when in the negative space of that? I think there is pitfalls with identity being tied to skills, or identity being tied to tools of the previous era of the visual effects industry and the animation industry, and that's where you get a lot of the tension of this new wave of tools, is people that have spent years or decades of their life learning tools and creating pipelines and workflows that may be irrelevant in the future.
I mean,
and so they're personally offended and look down upon AI because of that, because their identity is wrapped
so
up.
entangled, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of cope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, but yeah, it's something to think about as if like, well, what if you removed AI from an AI artist?
Jamey, what if I removed the Midjourney for you? Would you be?
I'd still probably be doing branding. I just shipped the pinned case study, the last case study I posted on my X. It's this really beautiful gradient brand for like a SaaS company. We didn't use any AI.
Do you feel more creative now than before AI?
Do I work more?
Like, do you feel more creative now?
Do I feel more creative? I don't know. I guess so. Yeah, I can make anything. So there's no friction.
Yeah.
I don't know if I feel more creative, but.
And you, Paul? Short answer.
Yes and no.
Okay, good. Duality wins.
There's parts of my brain that I'm seeing are getting smoothed.
Yeah.
I feel for me it's easier to get in a flow state.
Yeah.
That's my personal observation. Before I had to fight for it,
Yeah.
or I had to create the environment in which I knew I would potentially end up in that state, drug-free. So I don't know. It's hard. I think for me, removing tools, like I've always said, like if I did not have a Macintosh, I would not work with technology at all. And that was then very true. I think if someone removed my computer, I would get into gardening or woodworking probably. Just be like,
Respect.
yeah.
Yeah, actually, if you were to remove it all, I think we talked about this the other week, is I would probably be making furniture.
Yeah. I do see this trend that, like, if we look back to Art Deco, we had a lot of time to do beautiful things, ornamental design, and then something happened. We got mid-modern century, everything got flat, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad design era, but if machines are going to start doing more stuff for us, I feel that we might move back towards this like super ornamental, just spend time crafting for the sake of craft.
And it'll feel more precious and more special because of that. And
yeah, and even if we can make machines that could craft, granite or marble, it still feels like we will just align around like, hey, it's human made,
Yeah.
And I don't do it for the money. I do it for
It's
the
almost more
craft.
impressive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a state of abundance. A state of abundance is like
Yeah.
hopefully where we'll get to.
We're kind of running out of time, but can we get a few more minutes on the clock? I don't think we're ready yet.
Are we taking any questions from the audience? Or
Yeah,
how does
why
this
not?
work? How
Like,
does
I
this
don't know
work?
how it
What are we
works. It's
doing?
very
Does
unscripted,
anyone have
unfiltered.
questions?
Are you guys having a good time? Is it boring? No? Yeah? Okay, good.
All right.
Can we get a mic out and just get some questions going? Thank you. Anyone want
By the way,
to-
no one has to ask a question. It was just
Yeah, we have
I
a
was
mic
asking
now.
a question whether someone had a question. Yeah, we don't have any
We
questions.
do have a mic. No questions? Don't be afraid. Like, usually what I do at this point, in Malaga, for example, I just ran out and just took the mic and, yeah, go there. It's a mic. Oh, you can just sit there as well.
Well,
that's
that's fine. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Go ahead.
So earlier you talked about AI basically cornering decisions in your presentation, correct?
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like for me, I find improvisation very valuable in music and art.
Yes.
It does feel like decision is what consciousness has as its root. I'm wondering, what do you feel about AI being integrated with human decision and how that could lead to a place where there's no decision being made at all? Your soul is lost, essentially.
Yeah. So the question was about improv and the nature of improv when you're creating, and what is it the same kind of improv when the AI is constantly delivering answers to you? And yeah, that was sort of what I was touching on in the previous talk, was that it's so easy to accept something. And then what I find with human collaboration is a good collaborator will actually challenge you and say, actually, that's not, like, maybe that idea is good, but this idea I think you need to work on. Here's something. And that's true improv where there's a little bit of tension underlying. And I think if you remove the tension, you're going to inherently get something less interesting. And so I think I would not rely on AI as a full improv medium. I think there are aspects of it where it can kind of allow your brain to kind of travel down different paths that you wouldn't have traveled down faster. But it's important to create some kind of grit in your process where it isn't an easy path, and maybe just using it as an organizational tool versus like a true collaborative partner. I mean,
Will
people
add?
maybe are, as a broad term, maybe it's different than like artists. I think artists actually do look for tension in their process. But obviously, we're seeing AI proliferate because it's easy.
Can we get a question over there?
Oh,
Volume of mic.
Hello. So this one's for Linus, Paul, and Jamey. So a question for you guys is economically, right? Since AI's come around, do you feel like it really supports like the top 1% of creatives, or do you feel like it has an impact on the whole market as like the creative industry as a whole? Because there's so much opportunity that's been created through these tools. But do you really feel like it's the people at the top who benefit the most, or do you feel like there's the 99% are also in a position to win as well?
I think right now it's everyone's benefiting, but in 2-3 years, especially in like design, filmmaking, I'm leaning towards like 80-20 rule for sure, which is, depending on how you look at it, how things exist now. But I think there's really going to be no room for you to be like mid. kind of. Or if you are mid, you better be posting a lot and getting a lot of attention like me, so then you're still thought of. But I think right now, yeah, it's all gravy right now, for sure.
I think, yeah, leveling the playing field is pretty cool, actually. I think, you know, and that's happening with AI. That's also happening with TikTok and YouTube, and seeing YouTubers and TikTokers taking eyeballs away from Disney Plus and Hulu Plus and HBO Max, and that's really, I think, exciting. As you know, scary as it is for the film industry, I think it actually forces the industry to make more interesting work. So we just saw with this past weekend, it was kind of a unprecedented weekend at the box office with 2 YouTube creators beating out a Star Wars movie. Yeah. That's huge, and that's going to make Disney, I think it's worth a clap. I don't know if someone was trying to clap or they were getting out of their chair. So I think leveling the playing field is ultimately good for all industries and for mediums.
Yeah, I don't know. Do I have volume? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think 80-20 feels like where we're headed. We're in an arbitrage time right now where I'd say you're closer to like single-digit advantages right now as we're speaking. But as that curve is kind of equalizing, like with anything, we're going to end up in some 80-20 kind of rule scenario. Adoption curves now, I mean, you're probably going to feel this too. We've been using these tools for years already. Like all 3 of us, we are not new to generative AI. Probably like 2021 for me, 2022, you?
2020.
2020.
Damn, I'm behind.
We are the old guard.
Yeah, right.
But that acceleration curve is now in a phase where you're going to see like more people come online and be using these tools in like the next 6 months than have done so far from 2020. So the proliferation of these tools is here now. And that curve is going to continue to be steep because like we are very low still in the big numbers. Like we kind of entered early adopter territory or like early majority territory right now. You see that with like big companies, like what's the adoption rate and what's so. So you're still early by being here, by all means. Like we haven't, the train has not left the station yet. I think that concludes I feel they're screaming at us to get off stage. It was really nice that you all stayed. I know it's late in the day.
Thank you, everybody.
Appreciate it.
Wow,
Thank you so much.
What a day.
Thank you. Thank you.